Hey guys, Jason here. Today I am being joined by Andrew for the very first episode of our Duel Masters podcast. I noticed most of our videos are on the short side, and I felt it might be nice to have a mix of both long and short videos. I can appreciate the idea of long videos. Sometimes I just like to have random YouTube videos play in the background while I'm doing things, and other times they act as entertainment for me on the way to or from work. The idea behind the podcast isn't too complex. Andrew and I, maybe with a guest, just talk about some DM-related topic for 30-odd minutes. So without further ado, here it is. So the topic of our first video I thought should be tournaments, because tournaments are of course the cornerstone of every card game. And to be honest, like any competitive activity, right? Now, I myself have never entered a Duel Masters tournament, but Andrew, my good friend Andrew has, and to be honest, I don't think we've talked about it that much. So you told me about that one time that you played one of our table tennis acquaintances at a Duel Masters tournament.
Yeah.
But
that's something.
I haven't really we haven't talked about it in great length. So take me back to the very beginning. Take me back to the past, Samurai Jack.
So all the way back, all the way to the schoolyard meta.
All the way to the schoolyard meta. That's what we're here for.
Oh man. Okay. So I think I can't precisely remember when we started playing, but I know it was back in intermediate. So this was 2007, 7.
So
when were we in intermediate?
Yeah, 2006 to 7 for our US friends. Yeah. That's middle school.
So, yeah. So even during that time, the DM, if you base it on the DM TCG lifespan, it's already quite far in. So by 2006, I think it was Shockwaves was already released or something.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but then we back then we didn't have any of the cards. I remember the way I got into it was one of my good friends, Tony, he was I think we were in class one day, and he just bought him these cards, and I was like, what are these? And he was like, oh, this is a new card game.
It's a new card game. The game is it's on life support at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That just goes to show that we don't know anything about that. So then I actually can't remember, but I somehow acquired this fake deck.
Nice.
And then I bought it, and it was the character from the main series. What's the darkness character? I can't remember his name.
Kokujo.
Yeah, Kokujo. That's right. And he played like a worms deck.
Oh boy, I see where this is going.
Yeah, you can kind of tell why our favorite deck is. Okay, anyway, so I bought this deck, and I remember I was just winning every single game, and then
stay humble, Andrew. Stay humble.
It was fascinating because back then people run mono light decks. It's a really, really basic starter deck with Laura Giga and Emerald Grass and Sinatine Shade Tree.
Oh boy.
And occasionally one Holy Orb.
Okay.
So Worms just completely destroyed it because no one can deal with Chaos One. It's too strong.
True.
5k is too good.
Yeah.
5k beats Sinatine Jade Tree.
Oh, I can't argue with that.
So I guess that's how I started playing. But it wasn't really until I think maybe a few months later where I discovered how good nature was.
Yep.
So I initially made this mono nature deck, which we now call Beast Folk Mafia.
Yep.
And that was actually a term coined by the tournament that I went to.
Oh man.
There was a group of people who kind of played a similar deck to mine. Although my deck at the time was pretty unrefined. It had Steel Smasher and probably 50 cards.
Oh boy, 50 cards. 50 card rush deck.
Yeah. Oh man, Fear Fan was the best, man. He was so good.
True. Okay, continue.
Yeah, and then they were like saying, we're playing Bespoke Mafia. Well, it was kind of fitting because they were like in a group and they all played the same deck, so it's kind of like a mafia.
See, Andrew, this is how crews are supposed to function. Like, you all just decide on what the best deck is, and then you all just play it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then, obviously I wasn't part of the group, but then when we played the tournament, my opponents were like, "Oh, you're playing Bespoke Mafia," and I was like, "Yeah, I am."
Shit, that's so cool.
Yeah, so that's how the name came. So it wasn't really until I discovered Bespoke Mafia where I like really started to kind of think about the game and how to make your decks better in a way. And I remember like back then, because like everyone didn't know how to build decks.
Yep.
Like everyone just kind of like played their favorite card.
Which in a way is how the game should be, but like not really.
So you would like see all these like pretty jank cards like Bull Shock and like Moonhorn. Like really slow cards. So like Bespoke Mafia just like completely destroyed them because like you would finish the game in like turn 4-5.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have anything. They don't have any They don't have any like cheap cards to play.
This is true. This is true. Okay, wait. So if we try to fix up the timeline, so you discover the game, you start with Darkness, and then you realize Bronze Arm Tribe lets you play all your cards a turn earlier, and you're like, oh, these guys are pretty good. So where does it go from?
It was more so Barkwhip that really changed things. Because Barkwhip just like sped up the game so much, and also when you play Barkwhip it's still the case like when you play it nowadays. When you play Barkwhip on turn 3 or turn 4, it's like you can't deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can't.
There's no answer.
Okay, wait. So, how popular was Duel Masters at the school at this point? Because I know there were some school tournaments which even had like Kelvin attend, right? Our other friend Kelvin.
Yeah, that was another whole thing. So one of our friends, Kelvin, who's actually appeared on the channel before, he kind of had the idea to make these in-house tournaments.
Yep.
So what he would do was kind of like buy a booster box, and then he would kind of have an entry fee. So I think it was like $5 or something. So to cover the price of the booster box, and then they split the booster box in terms of how well you do in the tournament.
Yep.
And I remember. It was actually pretty funny. In one of the earlier ones, I think I played Tony in either the first or second round.
Yeah.
And I completely destroyed him with Barkwhip. And then after the game, he just like put in 4 Barkwhip in his deck, even though you shouldn't be allowed to alter your deck between matches. But back then, who knew what the rules were?
Yeah. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle City, baby. It's like you just beat your opponent, you take the rarest card, and you chuck it in your deck. There's no deck checks.
And the funny thing was, he wasn't running like too many Bespoke. I think he was just running like Bronze Arms. It's just like, this card's too good not to be played.
That's true. That's true.
And then I think I ended up winning that one. I can't remember what other decks I played. All I remember was
so good.
Was that? Yeah, but that was kind of like, I guess in a way, my deck kind of defined the meta at the time, because it was really like everyone was like pretty scared to play me.
That's the biggest compliment of all.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question. So typically, the way trading card game tournaments are run is they use Swiss into Top Cut, which is a single elim. So what did you guys do back then? Was it just like round robin?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think so there was a second tournament that someone else also hosted, and that one I remember specifically that I had to play like multiple games, and then there was a top cut. So I guess it was some sort of like format like that. It might not be as complicated as Swiss, but or something along those lines. But otherwise, it might have just been a knockout. Although I don't know how that would work because you play like one game and you lose and you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So did you end up winning the second tournament?
No. So the second tournament was a lot later, even though when I say a lot later, it was probably like a few months.
Yeah, I guess when you're a kid, right? Like a few months is like a long ass time.
Yeah. But by that tournament, everyone had like better cards. I guess everyone also got a bit better at making their decks.
Mm-hmm.
So by that point, there was so Robert, another friend of ours, he started to play decks that resemble control decks.
What a dick. Everybody's just like trying to have fun playing their favorite cards on Barkwith, and this guy's just like not breaking your shields.
Yeah, not breaking shields. Only break with like Twin Cannon. Yeah. And then Twin Cannon is also like 7k. Like we can't deal with that.
Okay. So did Robert end up taking that?
Yeah, so he ended up winning. It was partially because of he played Thrash Crawler. I was like, what does this card do? It's 5k. Yeah. 5k blocker.
So I assume you didn't have Fighter Duel Fang at this point.
Oh no, I think I did. I was just really annoying because you can't get over it with Barkwith anymore.
Okay, that's fair call. All right.
Yeah. So that was when people kind of got a bit better at the game.
Yep. And so, so those were probably all of the school tournaments, right? There were just two?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
these two, those are the major ones.
Oh, the major ones. What are you trying to imply here, Andrew?
I think we had some like just for fun tournaments, just during break.
Ah, I see.
But they were never for anything.
Okay.
They were just, I guess, for glory.
So they don't matter then.
Yeah, they don't matter.
Okay. Now, at what point did you go to Armageddon? Or I guess I should provide a bit of background context. Armageddon Expo in New Zealand is kind of like the closest thing we have to Comic-Con, would you say? It's just really this massive pop culture expo with like electronics, nerd stuff, bit of wrestling and movies. So all the stuff that people like. And every year it's a 3-day event, and they tend to run tournaments for trading card games. Now, I started Duel Masters after Armageddon stopped hosting Duel Masters, but Andrew, you played at one of the Duel Masters tournaments, right? So what was that experience like?
I was lucky enough to go to one of them. I think it was probably the last one before they stopped. Yep. Must have been 2007, I think.
Okay. So So what was that whole experience like? So I am sure I remember you got a bunch of Beast Folk promos, and you hated Kook Palon after that event forever and ever.
Oh my god, so remind me. So that's where the whole Bespoke Mafia story came from. Was from Armageddon. But otherwise, I think the event itself was pretty nicely organized. And there was quite a lot of people there as well. Especially when you think about like by 2007, as the game was already starting to be like figured out, or all the Bomb Bazaar decks already taken over.
All right. Okay. Yep. I see.
So I remember playing a few Bomb Bazaar decks, and also the card I hated the most was apart from the Kook Palon Rush.
Wait,
was Bazagazil Dragon. Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, do you remember the decks? Could you take us through your tournament like round by round? Because I'm actually pretty curious about that.
I don't think I can
Okay.
go that far into my memory.
Okay.
But I do remember this player who played like 2 or 3 copies of Bazagazil, but then they were in Japanese, so he had like an English translation on the side. It That's the first time I realized that you can use Japanese cards, but all you need to do is have an English translation.
But, my lord, is that legal?
Actually, I don't know. Probably not now, right?
I think
I don't think you can do that in any other card game.
it depends on the game you're playing. I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Back when we were playing about more than 10 years ago now. You could have foreign language cards, but you couldn't have Japanese cards. So there were people with like German cards and French cards. With Pokemon, I think, no, you cannot do that, but a couple of years ago you could. But like people would just find ways to exploit the market because like,
because it costs a lot cheaper.
Yeah, they're way cheaper in Japan, so people would just like buy from Japan and not buy their local language sealed product.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I feel like the takeaway from that is just give the rest of the world good products too, and don't just hide them all in Japan. Okay, sorry. So back to your tournament. So you hate Baz, you hate Kukpalon.
Yeah, I hate Baz. Okay, we'll go to Kukpalon. Oh my gosh! So the one problem with playing Bespoke Mafia is you can't deal, or you have no hard removal cards apart from Natural Steer. That is.
Yes.
So like cards like Horrified and Magnus and Kukpalon, they just break all your shields.
This is true.
So it's like it was an extremely like I guess 50-50, probably even worse than that, maybe like 40-60 favored towards the rush deck.
Yes.
Just because like once they play a Kukpalon, it breaks 4 shields and then they finish Shield Pyro. It's not very interactive. So you have to hope for like Mana Nexus or you hope to just rush them out first.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so that matchup was probably one of the least fun matchups I ever had. I remember I had like a continuing grudge with Pyro. I was like, this card is garbage.
I remember that. I like your logic though. Like you're like, this card is terrible, even though it totally beat my ass that one tournament. But then maybe this is your 200 IQ play to disincentivize people from playing that card that can beat you.
That's probably why. I was like, just take this out of your dick. You don't need it.
Just be a man. Play Twin Cannon.
Yeah. What? Play Rickaby. He does the same thing.
And he stays on the field. Pretty good.
He stays on the field.
You don't have to burn 3 mana each turn.
Yeah. Exactly. But as a matter of fact, I do think Pyro is a pretty good card now. So we've gone full circle.
Yeah, it only took like nearly 1.5 decades, right?
Yeah. So the other deck I remember was this Twin Cannon control deck that I played.
Mm-hmm.
And it was played by one of someone that we knew, a year older than us. And like, I remember this was like a couple years after that, the tournament that we kind of ran across this guy. And I was like to Jason, I remember, do you know I played him in Armageddon once? Yeah, and I remember the game was pretty close until he kind of, I mean, he was like top decking and he just top decked like a few Twin Cannons and then I lost.
Oh man, savage.
Yeah, but the matchup was pretty close.
All right, I respect it. Yeah. So what was your?
Other than that, I don't remember too much else. Oh, apart from we got the promo Bark Whip.
How many promos did you get at the tournament?
Oh, I remember you got to choose. So, it was from a selection of like 4 or 5. I remember there was like Coral. I think there was Torcon.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly, but there was like 4 or 5 promos, and then you get to choose, I think 4.
Yep.
4 copies of like any amount you want.
Oh man, that's pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
4 of any promo. Damn. I guess like they kind of, the tournament organizers knew the game was on its way out, so they were just trying to move all their old stock.
I think so. Because I remember like for the prizes, they didn't even give us packs. I think they gave us like one pack, but then they also gave us the Blizzard World of Warcraft TCG game that was new at the time.
Wait, so those were prizes for entering the tournament?
No, they were what you call like entry.
Oh, okay, I see.
Prizes, yeah.
Yep. Okay, I see. Damn. That's pretty cool. So, I'm kind of disappointed that I missed this whole era of Duel Masters. That was pretty cool. Because like I started.
When did you get in? Do you remember when you got in to Duel Masters?
I think basically it was after this Armageddon. I think I can't remember if this tournament was 2006 or 7, but I just remember it was after.
Yeah.
And Robert was already like the kingpin at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I say kingpin because he was like the master of making good deals, and he had like the best deck. So anything you wanted, any card you wanted, like he could probably give it to you.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, he had also English Bomb Bazaar.
Oh man. Even to this day, it's super highly sought after.
Yeah.
No, so I probably started after that. I just started by asking a bunch of people like for free cards because I was like super pro Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, but then Duel Masters was way more popular. So I just started asking people for their spare cards, and then eventually I put together.
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting thought. How the most popular game at the time was Duel Masters instead of something like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, right. Man, what a world.
Yeah. Well, even Pokemon.
Yeah. But so I would just like ask people for their stuff. And then eventually I was able to put a 40 card deck together. Darkness Fire wasn't very good. Deadly Fighter Braid Claw. Roth is the Traveler. And I had like Death Smoke was probably my best card. I had no trigs.
What about Proclamation of Death?
I didn't have that. And then,
okay. But you would have if you had it.
100% I would have played Proclamation of Death. And then it was so sad because I was like completely at the bottom of the totem pole because I couldn't deal with those light decks you were talking about. Like, because I'm sure like some players. There were a lot of players who never grew out of their light decks with like Laura Giga, Emerald Grass, Cenotine Jade Tree. So like what I would do is I would like Searing Wave their Laura Giga and Cenotine and their Emerald Grass, and I'd be like, oh, you know, I'm like hot shit. Pyro can break shields now. and then next turn they just slap down a Cenotine Jade Tree, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm done.
Oh man!
And then it got to a point.
I think it's really the accessibility of those cards. Like everyone had a copy, or everyone had 4 copies.
Yeah. And eventually, like Robert got more serious about the game, and then the year after that, our first year in high school, there were like still a couple of people playing, and then Robert just like gave me all the good cards. He's like, "You want to play set of Terror Pit, Mana Nexus, Natural Snare? Here you go." And then, so by virtue of just having like better cards than people, I got to be like decent-ish. Yeah, pay to win, baby. Pay to win.
Pay to win. Oh, speaking about pay to win, Duel Masters booster boxes used to be so cheap.
Oh yes.
Although it was probably because it was nearing the end of its lifespan.
Yes.
But I remember I purchased a base set booster box for $36. So this was like 24 packs.
$36. So I guess.
Oh, so this is 36 New Zealand dollars. So that's probably even less.
Like 24 US.
Yeah, even less.
24 US, roundabout.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So $1 per pack.
Yeah. I remember that was I guess because you're a kid, like your view of the world is very limited at that point. But I remember you kind of like took that and you're like, this is the benchmark for how much cards should cost. So when we eventually started playing other live card games like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, you'd be like, $6 for a pack? No, thank you. It's like, anything more than $1, you're just like, and for that reason, I am out.
Like, what is this? $50 for one card?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is not cheap.
Oh my god. Well, speaking of tournaments, man, I just realized like we have like played so many card games together. Like we've played Duel Masters, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. And we really need to get a life. No. Okay, one constant that we've had. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here. So, the most recent official tournament we entered was for Pokemon, and one of our biggest complaints about Pokemon is just how long it takes to just play the game and play a tournament. Because like the games take so long. Each round is 40 to 50 minutes. And best of 3, and then you play multiple rounds the bigger the tournament.
It's like a full day's work.
Yeah, it's like a full day's work, exactly. So with Duel Masters, because the games are naturally much shorter and, well, they can be shorter and less grindy than like Pokemon, do you think we would feel differently about like Swiss in general?
I think definitely. When you have like 10-minute games versus, I don't know, an hour game. How long do they give you? Like 45 minutes, and then and then you play what do they call it? The
time.
1, 2, 3 thing. Yeah, time.
Yeah. So it's like 3.
Yeah, so usually it's like an hour.
Yeah. Oh man. So how would you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
How would you design it if like because like for example, if I assume Pokemon gives 45 to 50 minutes per round because that's the average amount of time it should take to complete a best of 3. But with Duel Masters, because games can be much shorter, should that time be scaled down? Because otherwise, we would have the same complaint.
That is quite an interesting question. I'm honestly not too sure. I think you still have to set a time limit. Otherwise, people, they're never going to finish. They're going to take as much time as people give them.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I feel like your experience of the game will just be so much better because, you don't have to sit through, like 10-minute turns, for example.
Yeah.
Because if your opponent does take that long, you know he's like stalling. Because there's no way, like there's not that many things you can think of in Duel Masters.
Yeah. Hey, scoop it up, baby. Just scoop into game 2.
It's like, should I charge this or this? Or this one? Maybe this one.
Or, these are all good. I don't want to charge.
And there's no search cards. Oh, there are search cards, but quite limited.
Yes. Yeah, you're not like jumping into your deck every like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, unless you're playing Survivors.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then you might as well play with your deck in your hand. Your deck in one hand, your graveyard in the other, and then your hand is face up because you're just like, you know what it is anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Play open hand.
Okay.
So I don't know. To answer your question, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because I think the whole like time constraint actually has a really big effect on how many matchups play out. Because if you have like 40 or 50 minutes, then that could give control decks like a much bigger edge. Whereas if you have a shorter time frame where they can't, when they don't have as much time to set up or something like that, then
that is actually really interesting as well.
Maybe it changes things. I'm not sure if I'm doing like a good job in articulating the point, but I feel like if you play like an ultra grindy deck and you need like an Eon to set up, then you might not be able to resolve the game in like a shorter time span compared to a larger one.
Yeah, definitely. If you think about like even some of the deck out decks where they just use Slash Charger, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't have any attackers at all.
Yeah. I guess based on my uninformed opinion, what I might do is I might set it as, I would keep Swiss, but I would reduce rounds to the best of 3 rounds to 30 minutes and then maybe go from there. I guess going back to our channel, I think a lot of our best of 3 match videos go on for about, 15-ish minutes, somewhere between the 13 to 15 minute mark. So I think 30 is
I think maybe reasonable. A bit longer. Yeah, maybe a bit longer. But yeah, that's pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah. All right, Wizards of the Coast. I'm ready. I'm ready to take over.
Hire me, please.
Hire me, please.
we're only like, I don't know, 15 years too late.
Yeah. Oh yes, we are. It's actually pretty crazy how it's not just us who are still into the DMTCG. Like there's still loads of people who've been with us.
Yeah, I'm always amazed as to like how many people are still into this like 15-year-old game.
I guess, Andrew, it's a pretty fun game, so why not? Yeah, I think that's about all we have for this episode of the podcast. Andrew, are there any closing remarks that you want to tell the people?
Not really. I think I feel like the reason why so many people are playing for so long is this sense of nostalgia that we have for this game.
Yes.
And that's not going to be going away, anytime soon. So as long as that's there and, people are still finding new things, even after so long.
Yeah.
I remember you came up with a few crazy ideas the other day. I think Duel Masters will, will stay. Will continue sticking around, especially with, Duel Masters Plays that is, happening recently.
Very political, Andrew. I like it.
I have to plug in DM Play somehow.
Yeah, of course. And then it's like, was it Takara Tomy, please hire me.
Is that going to be the title of this video?
Oh yes, no, it's not. But okay, so if you guys like this sort of video, definitely let us know. Usually you do, through the likes, the comments, or whatever the case may be. And if you like it, we'll continue making it. If you don't, I guess we'll stop. But thank you so much for listening, I should say, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, see ya.